Peace, world. Peace, world. How you doing? It's your brother Mikey Fever. I appreciate the patience. You guys may have had. Sorry for the delay. Apologize. There was some technical difficulties. You know how that goes when dealing with technology. And we appreciate that. Some of y'all were very patient to wait. It's not the Yankee Stadium. I make you stand for 4 hours or so. But I appreciate that. You guys are here with us. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. We got super chats. We got merch on the website. We have plenty of shows coming up, and we appreciate our followers, our viewers, and our subscribers and listeners for supporting this movement right here that we have over at NYP. Tonight's special guest, we got Minister Kevin Ali from the Nation of Islam. How you doing, my brother?
Brother, I am doing fantastic by Allah's grace in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, thanking him for his messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Thank you for inviting me on. Thank you for having me on the show, brother.
No doubt, no doubt. I appreciate that. We appreciate you. Thank you for, making this time to come on here with us. And tonight's topic will be the mother plane, Ezekiel's will, and UFO. Brother, I know it's gonna be very in depth. And we're gonna start it off with the first question.
Sure.
How does the nation of, you ready? All right, cool, no doubt. How does the Nation of Islam interpret Ezekiel's vision of the wheel?
Brother, that is a phenomenal question. I could literally do an entire lecture on that, just that one question. I'm not going to do that. But what we have been taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is that Ezekiel's vision of this wheel was actually shown to him in reality sometime in 1931 by his teacher, Master Farad Muhammad, who explained it as a wheel within a wheel. He described it as a human-built planet. In other words, a ship, a craft that was constructed. And it's very important that you ask that question from a scriptural perspective, because it's that scriptural knowledge that gives us the background into what these signs and symbols mean. And why I also brought this up as a topic a couple of months ago, a month or two ago, with Brother Ron, was because the United States government had endeavored to release files, previously classified files, and you can go check these files out for yourself and do the math at the at war.gov/UFO, where they began to release documents, release videos of these crafts that had previously been labeled unidentified. Also in December, are you familiar with the Bill Maher talk show on HBO, the comedian political?
Yes, I'm familiar with Bill Maher.
Yeah, he did his opening guest in one of his shows in December. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he had produced a documentary video, a 2-hour documentary called The Age of Disclosure, where...
That's Bob Lazar? Is that with Bob Lazar?
I think that was his name.
Okay, go ahead.
I Googled it real quick, but the documentary is called Age of Disclosure. And in that documentary, and I watched the documentary, it's a 2-hour documentary. This gentleman, now they didn't call it Ezekiel's wheel. They didn't say Nation of Islam. They didn't say mother plane. They called it UFO and UAP. And they didn't just go to people in the country and people in a regular town seeing these objects. They went to military pilots, physicists, astronomers, U.S. senators, heads of the Department of Defense, and they all agreed that there is something that people are seeing. They've been trying to keep it a secret and trying to explain it away for years. But now it's just, there are too many cameras out now and too many people are seeing these objects. So they did a documentary called Age of Disclosure, and I encourage the audience to go check that documentary out for themselves. I submit to you tonight that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad explained what these phenomena and what these crafts were some 70 to 90 years ago in his teachings on what Ezekiel's wheel is and what the mother plane is. And please forgive me. If I'm talking too much,
No,
jump
you
in.
good.
Oh,
No, you good. We here. We here to listen, man.
so I'm hoping I'm answering that question. I'm googling this real quick to see what the I forgot what the name of the it's an Age of Disclosure. It's a 2025 documentary about the UFO directed and produced by Dan Farah. Dan Farah was the producer of it. And he interviews Pete Hegseth, he interviews Marco Rubio, he interviews the people in the Joint Chiefs of Staff. These are extremely credible people, and they're saying, yes, we are seeing these phenomena, but we don't know what they are. But we're going to start see. We don't know where they come from. They say things like, well, they say, well, did it come from China? They say, no, it's not from China. Well, is it from our arsenal? No, it's not from the American military arsenal. Is it from Russia? No, it's not any. Is it from India? They start naming all these countries, and one of the gentlemen in the documentary said, no, it's from another nation. See, when I hear that, that is, I hear Nation of Islam.
Oh, you hear the other nation? Okay, I got you. I understand where you're coming from.
We're not an organization, brother. That flag actually means something to us. We are, in fact, in our belief system, we are a nation. We're a landless, a stateless nation at this point. Much like Israel was a stateless nation up until 1948. They considered themselves a nation, they just didn't have a land. Even though the entire earth belongs to the black man, we are in fact stateless, lost here in the wilderness and hills of North America as a captive people. So if you don't believe what Kevin Ali says, don't believe what Elijah Muhammad says, go look at this documentary for yourself and see. But the information that we're going to be sharing with you tonight, the Nation of Islam has been teaching this since 1930. I submit to you that the government is finally having to come up off of this because too many people are seeing these things and too many people are seeing these crafts and these objects, particularly over key military installations. So when Elijah Muhammad said this was the prophecy of Ezekiel's wheel, you can look at you can look at scripture one of two ways. Ezekiel, the prophet, according to historians, lived approximately 516 years before Jesus of 2,000 years ago. So either the Bible was documenting what Ezekiel saw in a vision at that time, or the Bible is foretelling a future Ezekiel actually physically seeing these crafts when they make their appearance. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that these crafts were built or completed in 1929, built on the island of Nippon, which you know as Japan.
Japan, yeah. Okay. Oh wow. All right. That's a lot to take in, because with the teachings of UAPs or UFOs as they call it, and they hit, I heard about this when I read the book. I believe Theology of Time. Was it Theology of Time or God Tribe or Sabbath? One of those books when they spoke about the mothership and everything else. And I always was a little bit reluctant about that because I'm like, I'm one of those people I got to see if to believe it, like a UFO. I'm like, because we hear a lot of people like tend to speculate on that, and I get it. It's something that we must question, but I want to get more in depth with this mothership because I heard Farrakhan speak about it on the Criterion.
Yes.
I believe. And I want to elaborate more about this because a lot of people have been waiting for this moment about the Ezekiel will and the mothership and when it will be arriving and what would take place as far as the liberation of our people and such. So, what evidence supports these beliefs of the existence of the existence of the will today?
Say that again. You broke up in the first part of the question.
My bad. What evidence supports the belief that the will exists today? What evidence do we have?
Well, as I was sharing, people are seeing it. The United States government acknowledges that there are crafts and phenomena that they are viewing and seeing. You can go like I said, go to war.gov/UFO. And they see videos. They show pictures of it. They interview pilots. They're releasing documents. Now, a lot of people say, well, those videos aren't real clear. Well, that's because you got to remember, in the United States military, there are two types of airplanes. There are tactical or strategic airplanes, which are weapons to strike, and there are reconnaissance aircraft.
Okay.
The pilots that have seen these craft have been on tactical or strategic aircraft. Tactical or strategic aircraft don't have high resolution video systems on them. They have infrared cameras. They also have radar type cameras. They have those type of cameras that are necessary for weapon systems to lock on, not so that the human eye can see it clearly.
Okay, I got you.
Actually see some of these pilots and hear some of these pilots in the documentary where they're saying, "Wow, look at this thing! Look how it's moving!" And they estimate the speed of it was about 9,000 to 10,000 miles per hour.
So it's defying the laws of gravity, the Mach speeds and everything, the way it moves through this. Yeah.
I was in the United States Air Force. The fastest plane that was in the United States Air Force arsenal is the SR-71, which can go about Mach 5 or 6, which is about 3,000 miles per hour.
Yeah.
It's going straight at top speed. To make a right turn, it takes 1,000 miles for that ship to execute a right turn. The pilots stated that these craft that they were seeing could make a right turn at 9,000 miles per hour or a left turn or in any direction instantaneously.
Ooh. Defying gravity, the laws of physics.
Ali saying, what I'm sharing with you now don't come from the Nation of Islam. This comes from the United States government.
Got you.
From trained military personnel who are used to seeing crafts, who know the tactical abilities of their enemies, and they said, we've never seen these before. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that this craft was completed in 1929. The first documented viewing of UFOs was in June of 1947 by a businessman who was also a civilian pilot by the name of Kenneth Arnold in 1947. That was the first majorly documented sighting of quote unquote UFOs, and it was over Mount Rainier, Washington. And it's around about that time where the United States government said, you know what, we're seeing these things, but we got to put out a story here because we don't really know what it is. So they started using their propaganda machine to craft a narrative for the American public. And that narrative that began to craft was crafted by Hollywood. You had after 1947 in the 50s, you had a trove of movies about UFOs, about flying saucers.
Yep.
And at first, the movies, the people who were on these flying saucers in movies were humanoid in look. The day, I don't know if you ever heard of The Day the Earth Stood Still, very famous science fiction movie.
I heard that one.
There's just dozens and dozens of these movies. Later on, they started producing the narrative in movies that these craft were not with humanoids on it, but they were alien type creatures.
Yeah, Little Green Man, Roswell.
Exactly. I submit to you that is a cover story to hide. Now here I'm getting into Nation of Islam teachings. There's no doubt that these craft exist. What they are, where they are, and who's on them is the only question. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, since 1930, teaches us that they are original black men who are on these crafts. Human beings, born of a man, born of a woman, born on this planet.
Got you. And I like that. All right. How large is the mother plane said to be?
That's an excellent question. According to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was very specific in its dimensions. He said it's a half a mile across and a half a mile straight through. Now, in the movies, they make it look more like a saucer or a dish, wide and thin. But the dimensions I described make it more like an orb or a walnut shape for the mother plane.
Okay. I think I've seen that depiction before in some books.
There's drawings of this. Also, again, from the Nation of Islam perspective, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was arrested and placed in jail during World War One, the FBI confiscated all his notes, all his drawings on the mother plane, and he was put in jail about 1941.
The question I want to know: how did he get a hold of those, depiction, those notes? What W.D. Farad had, what intel with the, government at the time to get all that information?
How did the messenger get these notes?
Yes.
These notes were notes that he took
from W.D.
from his teacher for the first time and writing it down.
But where did W.D. get that information from? That's the question I want to, as far as the...
Excellent question. According to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Farad Muhammad is the designer of this craft. He is the designer and chief engineer and chief architect and chief builder of this craft. Now, does that mean he went out there with a hammer and nail and built it? That's not what it means.
Yeah.
But he is the chief builder of this craft. It was built according to his design, his specifications.
Gotcha.
And it's not the first time that a craft of this type was used on our planet. According to Messenger Elijah Muhammad, this type of craft was used trillions of years ago by original black men, trillions of years ago, and they used this craft, this type of a similar type of craft, to raise up the mountains. The way those mountains were raised up is bombs were dropped from the craft and drilled to a particular depth. Depending on how deep the bomb drilled, then it would explode and it would raise up a mountain that high. Now, this was done trillions of years ago. The current craft is a completely new craft, completely new, updated design. It is more like, have you ever heard of an aircraft carrier in the Navy?
Yeah.
They carry airplanes on. This is an aircraft carrier that floats, instead of on water, it floats on air and travels in air. And it carries 1,500 smaller tactical bombing planes on it.
I believe the baby planes, they call them, right?
That people call it. And each of those planes, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, has 3 tactical weapons on it. Again, a bomb, which is designed to drill. Now, this bomb is designed to drill 1 mile into the ground. So 1,500 planes, 3 bombs on each plane equals 4,500 total bombs. That is 4,500 targets. Targets of what? Targets of our enemies who have done this to us and continue to treat us the way they have treated us. There has to be some recompense, according to God, according to his prophets, according to the scriptures, for how they have treated the black man and woman in America and all over the world. So those bombs are designed to destroy cities. And once those bombs explode, it will send up a mountain 1 mile high and destroy everything within a 50-mile radius of those 4,500 cities.
Gotcha. All right. Just side note for giggles.
Sure.
Not for even giggles, just to go off track, but come back. Do you think that's why, do you believe that's the reason why Trump created SpaceX? Because the mothership is coming in, so anybody feel like...
Not only is that why Trump and the Trump administration created SpaceX, but it is the reason why the Caucasian went to the moon. His desire was to set up a station on the moon so he can get a shot at the mothership, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Gotcha.
A base of operations that he could prefer, because he knows he can't live there. He can't build a civilization. There's no atmosphere there. So the messenger said he went to the moon to try and build a way station there. And according to some moon conspiracy theorists, astronauts there said that there were people watching them, or creatures, they say, watching them when they landed on the moon. I didn't hear that from the messenger. I'm just going by general conspiracy.
Yeah, I seen some documentaries speaking about that, where I believe numerous times they went up there, they said they believe they saw footprints, or they seen like some crafts land by them, or something has been moved up there and such. I was like really into this stuff before, like trying to understand like what's taking place up there. Like I heard the stories from different people outside of the Nation of Islam, who like from government people that work, like the Bob Lazars who work on these projects, and many others who Peter Moon, those guys, and what's the other guy? That Phil Schneider guy. He said about the underground base that when they had extraterrestrials and stuff like that, and it was the ships they the Germans at the time were re-engineering the ships that they found and as such. So
Okay.
it's like, wow, these things do exist, but I want to get more in depth with this mother plane. It said how large a mother plane said to be. All right, I asked that question. What role does the mother plane plays in God's role? Like we know about our people have been going through suffrage and bondage on this planet, and that we are the original people of the land of the universe, as they say when they say who was the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, maker, owner, creator upon the earth, father, salvation, God in the universe. How does that connect to the mother plane, and how is that connected to God's plan for our people with the mother plane?
Well,
Who's operating the mother plane? That more I want to ask. I'm sorry, who's operating the mother plane?
Well, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, each of the 1,500 bombing planes has a pilot on it. So that's at least 1,500 pilots. Now,
Okay.
what other personnel is on the plane or on the mothership, I don't know. I haven't heard the messenger teach. But he does teach us that each of those pilots have been training for their tactical objective since they were 6 years old. If you know anything about the Caucasian military, especially his Air Force and his naval pilots, they train for a particular. There's a pilot right now who's been training to make an attack run on Moscow, for instance.
Okay.
There's a pilot in the Air Force or Navy who's been training, or pilots who've been training to make a tactical run on Beijing. They set up these scenarios to deal with their enemies, and they use weapons to deal with their enemies. Well, why are they planning an attack on Russia or an attack on China? I'm not saying they're planning one, but I'm saying they are preparing for one if it need be. What's going on in the Middle East? Those scenarios in the Middle East that are taking place right now in Palestine and Lebanon, in Iran and Iraq, and they've been training and planning for that for 50 years now. Pilots have been trained. They don't just go over there and say, okay, we're going to choose. They've been selecting targets. Why? Because they have an objective. Their objective was to control that holy land because of its mineral value, its natural resource value in oil, and also its religious value, because one of our prophets, one of our righteous brothers, who's a prophet by the name of Jesus, is buried there. This is his good name to shield his dirty religion that is called Christianity. Jesus' teachings were not Christianity. They're freedom, justice, and equality. Wow. That's the lesson, right?
Yep.
Well, they have to protect that secret because the body of Jesus is there. If they give up control of that area and the world finds that the body of Jesus is really there, then their world begins to unravel because it is that lie. So they protect that area with military force and might. They put their little brother Israel there as a hedge to protect it. Well, I submit to you that because of what they have done to you and I and our ancestors and people around the world, innocent people around the world, that there has to be a punishment to pay. Now, our God is in control of the forces of nature, but as the white man says, at some point, you got to send in ground troops. Our ground troops, if you will, is not wind, hail, snow, and earthquakes. America's being plagued by those now. Our ground troops are these tactical weapons that are aimed at these cities to bring the Caucasian world to its knees, really to eliminate it. There's got to be some recompense according to Bible and Holy Quran.
Yeah, of course. Revelation, there's something has to give.
Something has to happen.
Something got to quit. So does the Nation of Islam believe Ezekiel physically witnessed advanced technology? Because that's what it sounded like at the time, like it was some form of advanced technology, as you mentioned. Like it came as a geometrical vision to him, but it could also represent advanced technology. That's what it was.
As I said, it could be Ezekiel's vision in the Bible could be taken two ways. It could be a man named Ezekiel who lived 500 years before Jesus seeing this or being given this vision from the future or having this revealed to him about what would happen in the future. Because remember, we write scripture 25,000 years in advance of history that happened. So it could have been given to that Ezekiel of 500 years before Jesus, or both, or it could be the modern Ezekiel actually seeing it now. We believe the modern Ezekiel is messenger Elijah Muhammad. So it could be either or both of those scenarios. But yes, scripture gives us insight into what these things mean and why they're here, why they're there. And Ezekiel's vision, he said he saw eyes all around the wheel. The only thing that has eyes that can operate a mechanical device is human beings.
Got you. So Elijah thought he teach the followers about the mother plane, that the information he received from WD Farad. How have you guys ever had like clashes with so-called like scientific scholars from NASA who try to debate the fact that the mother plane exists? Like, instead, when they hear from the Nation of Islam perspective, like, yeah, but it sounds like it's so centered upon your teachings. Do you guys have a clash with scholars over that?
I don't know of any particular scholarly discussion or scholarly debate concerning the mother plane with any particular scientists. Not that I'm aware of. There may have been. I will put it this way, Brother Mikey. This topic is very, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say important, but that's not the right word. The Caucasian world is very curious about this topic. If you look at NYP Talks numbers, when we did that show 2 months ago, that is now NYP Talks' largest live show audience in your archives.
Yeah.
It now has 21,000 views. So people are looking to find out more about this. It's a wider audience. Yes, were we scoffed at for saying this in the 1980s, the 1970s, the 1960s, the 1950s? I'm sure we were. I mean, why wouldn't somebody scoff at this? Flying saucers? Oh, come on. But that idea of, flying saucers, come on. Remember, they planted that narrative of flying saucers and little green men in the 50s and 60s with their UFO iconography. But if you look now, their movies are taking a much more realistic view of these crafts, starting with, remember Will Smith's movie Independence Day?
Independence Day, I remember that. That one was crazy.
They called it the mothership.
Yeah, they did. You're right. Yeah.
The only difference was there were creatures on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the Stargate, Operation Stargate?
I remember the movie I went to go see back in '95.
Remember the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on to your hat, Brother Mike, because I'm about to blow that hat off your dome. Operation Stargate. Have you ever heard of remote viewing?
Yes.
Operation Stargate was a remote viewing experiment. The experiment was 2 parts. The U.S. military, not the government, the U.S. military got this dude who said he could remote view. So they said, okay, we're going to see if he's real. So what they did was they put his remote viewing objective, Operation Stargate, they put his remote viewing objective into a sealed envelope and put it down in front of him. So that was step 1 to see if this guy was legitimate. What was in the sealed envelope, it said to remote view the civilization of Mars from 1 million BC.
Sound like some telepathy right there.
So the remote viewer was able to tell what the objective was in the sealed envelope. Then he remote viewed Mars in Operation Stargate. He remote viewed Mars 1 million BC. The military psychic's name was Joseph McMoneagle. And he was handed the sealed envelope that contained a card that read the planet Mars, time of interest, approximately 1 million years BC, Without knowing the target, he was given specific geographic coordinates and described seeing structures, large pyramids, obelisks, massive roads, and deep network of shelters. This is what he saw in his remote viewing session. 1 million BC, brother Mikey.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that 7 of the planets in our solar system are inhabited. He's been teaching us since 1930 that Mars, of course, is one of those inhabited planets, and the people of Mars live 1,200 of our Earth years and are 8 to 10 feet tall. He said he saw slender individuals, very tall, thin people, wearing strange fitted silk clothing. This is what the remote viewer said in this remote viewing session. And you know when this Operation Stargate was? It was in 1984. Remember, it said, oh, and the remote viewer saw pyramids, obelisks. What was in that movie?
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, it's a fact. It took place in ancient Kemet.
He's in his movie iconography to see how the public will
react to it.
I
got you.
But he was scientifically doing this in 1984. And Operation Stargate is right on the Freedom of Information Act reading room. This is not the Nation of Islam saying this.
No. I got you. I got you.
I'm not trying to say to you. I know who's in the audience.
Of course.
That's in the audience. They want.
I mean, like Double Bled said the same thing too.
How much more proof? What do you want? You want me to summon the mother plane and park it in front of your house? Is that the proof you want? I mean, come on.
That would be cool.
Islam is proven at no limit of time.
No, of course.
We had none of this 20 years ago. We had none of this 30 years ago. All we had as believers was what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. I, for one, believed it. Although I never saw it. I saw it in 2017 during the eclipse in 2017.
Oh, wow. Not to be facetious, because there are times I do, I pay attention to these topics. I may joke around, but I don't see it as too far-fetched. Reason being is the Dogon tribe were able to map out the stars without, quote-unquote, advanced technology, not known as modern-day Zulu people. But, yeah, they were able to map out the constellations of the Dogon, the Dogon tribe at the time. So it comes to show you our people have a deep connection with the universe where man can do so. And even the hieroglyphics in ancient Kemet, they will have like these images on the wall that looks like flying saucers, light bulbs, and stuff like that. And I'm like, they didn't even have that, what we know today as advanced technology within their time. So yeah, I see where you're coming from with that.
For those who think that this is just super fantastical information, just ridiculous, I've never heard of such. Imagine that, let's transport ourselves back to the year 1850. Imagine telling somebody in the year 1850 that there would be modern flying jet planes that could cross the country in 4 hours. They would be like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But that idea was placed in somebody's mind to produce that, and they did produce it. I submit to you from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that the current ruling powers of this world were given time to rule in this world. And our knowledge, our wisdom, and our power was put to sleep to allow them time to rule. And that time that they were allowed to rule was 6,000 years. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the earth ain't 6,000 years old, that we have been on this planet, populating this planet for trillions of years, at least 72 trillion years. Original black people have been populating this particular planet that we now call Earth.
Gotcha.
Does a concept of a flying saucer sound crazy if you're teaching this in 1930? Of course. 1940? Yeah, it's ridiculous. But the Caucasians didn't take it ridiculously. They began crafting a narrative to get people to make sure they keep thinking that it was ridiculous, particularly you and I.
Got you. So before we could continue go any further, I just want to shout out the chat real quick. Peace to Created Boundless Universe. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you. And what he says is, do you know stone inscriptions in Mesopotamia and Egypt, starships and beings pointing towards the stars. Thank you for that information right there. So how is the mother plane connected to the establishment of a new civilization? Like, say tomorrow morning, boom, mothership arrives. What happens, theoretically speaking?
Well, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, approximately 8 to 10 days before the final destruction of America, this is America that's going to be destroyed. There might be selected targets in Europe, but this is America that's going to be destroyed as a sign to the rest of the earth. He said 8 to 10 days prior to that, leaflets would be dropped from the mother plane instructing us what to do and where to go. And I can't remember the name of the movie where it was a disaster movie where from these alien craft, leaflets were dropped from during in the movie. I mean, where are they getting the ideas for all this?
That's true. Yeah, that's crazy.
My wife in the it was Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind.
Craft in Leave the World Behind, which is on Netflix.
I'm gonna check that movie out. Why is preparation emphasized before the appearance of the mothership? Like, how should the original people live before the arrival of the mothership? What steps should be taken?
This is very important. And again, I'm not sitting around waiting on no mothership. I'm not sitting around. We have to eat today. We have to live today. But are you familiar with the term the prepper community?
No.
In America, there's a group of mostly Caucasian people who call themselves preppers. And prepper is short for preparation. And what they are doing is they're stocking up on food. They're stocking up on water.
Doomsday. I heard of them, the Doomsday. Yeah.
Not just doomsday people, but they're stocking up on weapons. They're stocking up on radios and all the type of gear that you would need to survive being off the grid. It's just like the people in war-torn areas around the world. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that those war-torn areas that we see on the news, pay close attention to what's going on, because soon that will visit America. So first thing you have to understand is, what will I need to survive if I can't go to Kroger's, if I can't go to A&P, if I can't go to ShopRite up there?
Yeah.
Okay, first thing you need water. How much water do you need? You need at least a gallon of water per person per day stored up. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us you should store up at least 90 days worth. You can go weeks or even months without food, but you can only go about a few days without water.
Yeah, that's true.
Just to stock up on is non-perishable food items, particularly food items that we can eat without having to cook them. This is what the prepper community is doing in white America. And quiet as it's kept, your next door neighbor is doing it too. They're just not telling you that they're doing it, because people in the know that it's getting kind of late in the game.
Yeah.
And you haven't stocked up yet. You don't want to tell other people you stocking up, because when it goes down, you'll be the first one that they hit.
Exactly. You see the writings on the wall, though.
All these doomsday scenario TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
Walking Dead, The Day the Earth Stood Still, Day After Tomorrow, Bird. What's that one where the birds, where they look at the thing and they I can't think of the name. It's on Netflix. What's the other one? A Quiet Day, where they had to be quiet because these creatures were.
Oh yeah. I remember that one.
They are obsessed with these doomsday scenario movies. They're sending a message to their people so that we don't see it and hear it. But their people are getting the message that
The writing's on the wall.
Stock up. Say that again, brother.
The writing's on the wall because they show, as you said, in those movies and even commercials now. Like you see advertisements on TikTok and social media talking about, here's a flashlight for sale in case something goes wrong. Like since when we know for Home Depot, but now they're pushing out things, sleeping bags and compasses and outside cooking pots and stuff like that, cooking utensils.
Ready to eat meals like the military uses.
Yeah, MREs, right? Yeah.
They're selling them in Costco and BJ's and Walmart and Sam's Club now.
Yeah.
What are they selling military type meals for?
Yep.
Are preparing. And if you notice, especially in our communities, they are creating more and more food deserts.
I noticed that.
So even if when it goes down, we won't even be able to go raid the supermarket.
No.
We won't
We're off the land, man.
Because there's no land in our neighborhoods to even raid.
Yeah. I told people, I always joke around, but I say this, I'm like, the way the universe provides for us, we won't even go hungry. I know where to go. It's not the best, but you could go to Hudson River, go fish if you have to, if it gets that rough.
Yes.
There are pigeons in there.
Weapons, hunting materials,
yeah.
The fish. I have a book, How to Forage in the Forest. Some plants you can eat in the forest. If you eat the wrong one, it'll kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what are they preparing for? The only culture on earth that speaks of a day of judgment or a doomsday are Western cultures. And what I mean by Western cultures, I mean Caucasian cultures.
Mm-hmm.
No other culture speaks of a day of reckoning or a doomsday or a judgment day.
That's true.
Ask any Christian about a judgment day. He'll tell you all about judgment day is coming. Ask any Muslim about a judgment day. He'll tell you, 3 billion Muslims on the planet, 3 billion Christians on the planet. They will tell you about a judgment day.
Somebody said the waters will also be contaminated.
Oh, it's already contaminated.
It is, I believe, with all the fluoride and stuff like that that's in there. Yeah,
chlorine. Yes, it's already highly contaminated. But you have to have. But to continue to answer your question, you want to begin to stock up on these supplies. This is what we do prior to. We don't even have to worry about another plane because there are going to be events that take place before the appearance of this weapon that we are going to need to be prepared for. You think those people down in Uvalde, Texas, you think they would need some supplies now that they could have thrown in the back of their car to get out of that area now? 25 inches of rain in 2 days.
Yeah.
How about the people of Cuba?
Oh yeah.
Cuba is now is I think that island's been dark now. Is it like 4 or 5 months now? No electricity.
Yeah, no one speaks about that. Yeah, it's been.
Nobody's talking about that.
Nah.
It was done by the Trump administration. But the Bible teaches us, as thou hast done, so shall it also be done unto you. You want to cut off the people and the people of Cuba are our people.
Yeah.
They're original people. They're black people. They're people of color, mestizos.
Mm-hmm.
So you cut them off. Okay, as thou hast done, so shall it also be done unto you. The prophet Daniel said to Nebuchadnezzar, your kingdom has been weighed in the balance, and it has been found wanting. This is all directed to our former slave masters and their children. They could still maybe avert this disaster that's about to overtake them. They could still maybe avert it by doing right by us. Stop murdering us in police brutality and extrajudicial killings. Stop firing us for unjust reasons. You don't want to stop treating us worse than any cattle in the field. You want to keep treating us away? Okay, good. Let us go then. Give us some land that we can call our own so that we can go for ourselves. Stop treating us like we're second-class citizens in America. How many more elections do we have to go through before we think we can eliminate this problem?
Talk about it. Say that again.
How many more elections do we have to go through to eliminate this problem?
Exactly.
I'm actually glad for President Donald Trump. He has exposed what is really on their minds, and he has allowed those who have it at the forefront of their minds. They have come out these last 12 years or so and come out to the forefront and told you exactly who they are.
How they feel. And I'm happy in the sense that, you know, 'cause I try to stay clear of the politics, but I like when certain things are shown to us to really light that flame under our backsides to unify out here. Because I see there's a lot of diversion and division that's planted amongst our people that still continues to perpetuate to this day, which I find
Yes.
very ignorant. I find it very ignorant. Like you got certain groups at each other's throats for no reason. We clash over beliefs, different ideologies, but we don't see that we are in dire need to unite up out here, unite up in here to get things moving. So
And that's
whenever this mothership does decide to appear and, and do damage, I think it should take a few of our people too, man, that sold us out. You know,
again, but say it again for the people in the back, Mike. You sold us out.
yeah, because you know we do our own hurting too. You know, it's easy to say, you know, the so-called white man done this and that, but we do a lot of our own hurting amongst ourselves as well.
Well, he
I'm
almost
growing tired of that.
on the smaller things, he almost has us on autopilot. We do a better job on autopilot than he ever did. He really is on very. He operates on a very macro basis.
Self-cleaning oven. That's what I call it, the self-cleaning oven. We basically clean ourselves up. Like, but we doing, like you said, it's autopilot. We're doing the work. You know. What books should one read if you want to know more about the mothership? Like, what books did Elijah Muhammad provided for those who want to learn more about the mothership?
The best book is Message to the Black Man in America.
Okay.
There are 3 chapters. Where did I put mine? There are 3 chapters in Message to the Black Man in America that deal specifically with the mother plane.
Okay.
It talks about the battle in the sky. The battle in the sky is near. That's this book here, Message to the Black Man in America, by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, where it goes into detail about the mother plane. The other book is a compilation book that is published by Messenger Elijah Muhammad Propagation Society. I'm trying to, where the heck did I put it? I hid it for myself. And that book is actually called The Mother Plane. This book here, Message to the Black Man, was published during the time the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was amongst us. The compilation book, The Mother Plane, was published by Messenger Elijah Muhammad Propagation Society in the early 90s. And it's a compilation of articles that were written in the Muhammad Speaks. These are documented and verifiable, and also from excerpts from speeches that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave, where he's talking specifically about the mother plane. You can get both of these books on Amazon. Also, The Fall of America by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And there's 3 chapters in Fall of America. I don't know where I might have.
I remember that book, The Fall of America.
Yeah, there's 3 chapters in The Fall of America that specifically talk about the mother plane specifically.
Yeah, that book is a good book right there. It gives you it basically gives you some insight to pay attention to what's going on around you, the environment, keep a pulse on the people. Because I remember during the pandemic, that's what I was doing. I read the Message to the Black Man back in 2009. But when I really had time during the pandemic, I started reading it again. I was like, yo, it's making so much sense what's happening. And this is what was a catalyst for this podcast between Brother Ron Brown and I, was that we see how the pandemic affected our communities. As you mentioned, it was a food desert. People couldn't get in supermarkets in time. And we was like, no, we got to do something to help out the elderly, those that are in need. But we was mostly focused on the elderly and the babies, because we seen what was taking place. And we like, we got to do something, man, to help the people out. We started feeding families, and from there, it moves into other things. But yes, that book right there really, it really did open my eyes, man, to what was going on. So yes, the writings on the wall, you know, a lot of things have transpired. as far as the concept of the mothership, I'm still growing. I'm still learning that to see what's going to take place. But I do feel like there are other forces out there, and I also look at it from a spiritual perspective as well. That's what it is too. You take it literal and also spiritual, allegorical. Like it will show a time where our people will start to wake up, see what's going on, because a lot of us are still asleep, brother, dumb, deaf, and blind.
And we've been purposefully made to be that way, to keep us from waking up. Because the moment we wake up and realize who the real problem is, who the real enemy is, we will want to get away from him. That is the only thing, and that is why Pharaoh does not want to let us go. Pharaoh did not want to let the children of Israel go because he was afraid and he knew that Jehovah would attack him if those children of Israel weren't around him. He knew that they were like a quote unquote human shield. That's where they get the concept of the human shield from, saying that Hezbollah and all these other groups in the Middle East do that. No, the Caucasian people in America do that. That's why they don't want us to go, because if we get out of his way, then he has a clear shot. And that's why a lot of people say, well, why doesn't the mother plane do something right now? Right now.
Yeah, some will ask that, yeah.
Well, because we are here. He doesn't want to destroy us. He wants to save us. He wants to destroy the enemy of us. Now, there is going to come a time where you're going to be given a choice, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Do you want to go with your own original people, or do you want to stay here with your former slave master? And those who choose to stay with the former slave master will be given free reign to do whatever he wants to them, including putting them back into slavery, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, there's a whole lot of things that have to happen before this mother plane goes into action.
Really?
Middle East is just a prelude. Soon, Russia and America will unleash their nuclear weapons at each other.
Oh yeah, that's coming soon. I feel it.
Europe.
That is coming pretty soon. I feel it. It's slowly. I say they're about like 75% there. It's getting there.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that they will turn Europe into a graveyard by their exchange of nuclear weapons. The Holy Quran talks about these two enemies of each other. In the Holy Quran, it is called the Gog and the Magog.
I heard those names before. Yes.
Clash with one another. And this is taking place. It's been taking place really since World War I. Of course, the hot war ended somewhere after Vietnam, and they entered what they call the Cold War. It was cold because America and Russia weren't firing at each other, but they had proxy wars where they were fighting by proxy with each other, using each other's weapons in Vietnam, in Cambodia, in Afghanistan.
I read about that though.
In Cuba.
Nuclear proliferation, something like that, where they just had tons of weapons, but they didn't go at it. Yeah, I remember that.
But it keeps coming closer and closer with these two superpowers. And now China is the third power in the superpower. And China seems to be more aligned with Russia because they put together that BRICS alliance.
I remember that. Yes.
So what is BRICS? That's Russia,
Britain,
China,
India, China, and I think Soviet. Britain, Russia, India, China, and not the
I can't think of the B, but
the B.
Yeah. BRICS.
Yeah, the BRICS were
I forgot. It's not Britain.
It's not Britain. Somebody in the chat should put that in there. But
now they have an alliance against the NATO alliance. And the fight that they're having now is to get off of the petrodollar as the world standard currency. That's why Obama had Gaddafi assassinated, because he wanted Africa to unite and get off of the petrodollar and get off of the united African currency.
Gaddafi spoke about that before he passed. He said it at a summit.
He didn't pass. Obama assassinated him.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, but in past
I'm-
before I know before he got taken up out of here. Let's put it like that. He spoke about that at that summit. He said they are attacking all the Islamic countries, and believe it or not, they have been. And what the BRICS is, I just found it out, is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa.
Yeah.
Brazil. Yep.
But they have formed an alliance, an economic alliance, and they're creating their desires to create, and they may have already done it, create a new currency, and that currency is going to be based on 50% of the combined currencies of those countries and 50% gold.
Yep. Natural resources.
Because America, the currency of America, the petrodollar, isn't backed by anything.
Nope.
They can just print more anytime they feel like it.
Exactly. That's it.
And anybody who threatens that economic system, they've got to be dealt with. They've got to be eliminated. Same thing with Saddam. Same thing with Bashir in Syria. They demonize these African and Muslim leaders like they're some big boogeymen. You and I, brother, we've been dealing with the worst boogeyman ever for 400 years, but they got the nerve to call other people boogeymen and then murder and then assassinate them.
Exactly. Somebody's asking the comment piece where Brother Ron at.
In one way or another, to the ultimate goal of eliminating the wicked from this planet, and i.e. related to the objective of the mother plane, if you will. But there's a whole lot more that's going to take place. America is going to come from this war in the Middle East. They're going to come home with their tail between their legs.
Yeah, I see it slowly happening. They bit off more than they can chew. Aren't they stuck out there? They can't back out now.
They can't back out. They can't move forward. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
One minute they say that they've signed a treaty. The next minute there is no treaty.
There's no treaty.
The guy that the negotiations break off.
Yeah, of course. That leader that you assassinated out in Iran was beloved, and he was a very intelligent man. And that was 40 years of preparation that he was gearing his people up for. He knew this was going to happen. He knew it. You know what I'm saying?
And in this current war, if you remember, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, there's a good documentary on CNN by Fareed Zakaria that shows how America and Iran got to this particular point. But do you remember the Iran hostage crisis in 1979?
That was before my time, but yeah, I read about it. I remember it.
Well, to sum it up very quickly, during the Iran hostage crisis, the installed government at that time was overthrown in a coup by the United States of America. And the Shah of Iran was installed by the United States of America. The Shah was bringing in a more liberal form of liberal democracy to Iran. And the government that was eliminated was leaning more towards Islam. Well, the students who were interested in leaning more towards Islam then overthrew the Shah because of his brutal regime, which was undergoing, assassinations, murders, internments, jail, all types of things like that. And they took over the American embassy, and they took hostages of all the American citizens working in the American embassy. The Shah of Iran, the Ayatollah at that time, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, said to the students, look, let the women hostages go and let the black hostages go.
Oh, wow.
Our fight is not with them. We're civilized people. We don't take women as prisoners of war. And the black man of America has endured enough hardship from the people that he's dealing with. We have no problem with them. That was the Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, the grandfather of the one they assassinated.
Okay, I remember Khomeini. Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
And he's the one who began calling America the Great Shaitan. You know what the Great Shaitan means? The white man is the devil.
Of course. I know that part. We have to do a part two,
I'm
but
not
go
doing
more.
there's brother, we get so many viewers here in this, you're gonna be shocked.
No, we have to do because I want to get more into that, understanding the history of, because I tend to hear there's some there be some small discrepancies and conflict amongst Islam, the Nation of Islam's at perspective of Islam and the Orthodox. I want to see if we could join the two to talk about the differences, but also come to a level of understanding with one another. Because you saying this, I heard this before. My father speaking about that with Iran. He's like, yo, believe it or not, they don't have a problem with black people.
No, no, sir.
You know, I want to get more into that to talk about that. So I got to get you back on here to talk about that.
Anytime, brother. The
You know
Honorable
what I'm saying?
Master Farad Muhammad and his messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, has made friendships for us all over the earth. The name Elijah Muhammad and Farad Muhammad is known all over the earth. We in America just don't take it very seriously. Oh, they're those guys that wear suits and bow ties and sell bean pies. But the ruling powers around the earth, and this is even before Farrakhan's time, before Malcolm's time, they know the name Elijah Muhammad.
Mm.
That's why the Japanese press came and interviewed, and that's why I'm not sure when you're going to close it out, but the Japanese press came and interviewed Elijah Muhammad because they heard the teachings about that ship being built on their island, and they know about it. And one of the reasons one of the things that I've noticed in my research is there's a unique magnetic field profile around Japan and the Japanese islands that makes it very hard for radar or other surveillance equipment to view what's going on there. So the conclusion, now I'm not getting this from the messenger. I'm learning this just in my basic geography. I said, well, that would make sense why they built it there so that nobody could see what they were building. Now, anybody in the audience who thinks I'm making this up, go Google the magnetic profile of Japan, and you will see that it has a very unique magnetic field that makes it very difficult for surveillance equipment to view what's going on in Japan. I said, I wonder if that's one of the reasons why Japan was able to sneak up on America in Hawaii during World War II, because they didn't passing their, I mean, hey, now there are some that say America knew that Japan was coming and let them come anyway as a pretext to get involved in.
I heard about that. The president knew to go to war.
But we can have an intelligent conversation about this either way. I can have an intelligent conversation with you and disprove the existence of the mother planet. See, I learned to do. I'm not sure what type of school you went to, or if you ever took debate, but in debate you have to be able to, on any particular subject, you have to be able to disprove a point, and you have to be able to prove a point.
Yeah, exactly. You got to look at it from both sides. So you
got to look at it from both sides.
Yeah.
So I constantly do that with the messenger teaching, and he encouraged us to do that. He said, question it. Don't accept it on face value. Question it.
Everything in existence.
Examine it. Take it apart. Dissect it. He said, this is what scientists do. And when you find a flaw in it, and when the scientist finds a flaw in their theory, then they go back and they present a new theory.
Yeah, amongst their peers.
Different.
Peer review.
Just to say, oh, that's stupid. That's crazy. Okay, maybe it is to you, but go ask that man who made the documentary Age of Disclosure if it's crazy that there's crafts flying around and nobody knows what they are.
Yeah, I believe I've seen that before. That documentary, wasn't 2020 that one that came out? I think that was.
Well, the documentary Age of Disclosure came out in December of 2025.
There was another one I've seen, I believe.
A movie that just came out called Age of Disclosure.
Yeah.
Where again, the disclosure was that there were little green men in these ships.
There's so many of them out there, man. I used to religiously watch those things. Like, it was nothing, to the point my head almost fell off. I'm like, yo, there's so much to dissect, and even down to books like the William Cooper, Behold the Pale Horse, that information.
On my shelf right here.
Yeah, oh, you got that one, right? Yeah. Not the revised copy, the original.
I've got the original, which was
Yep. That right there. And then you got the other book, Unseen Hand by Ralph Epperson and all these.
This one was published in 1991, and I've had
Yep.
it. I've had that since about this time.
Wow. Yeah, man. That's another book right there that goes deep into that, into what takes place with technology. But brother, I appreciate you, Minister Kevin Ali, for coming out, man. Appreciate you again for being patient with this, crazy technical stuff, man. It kind of,
No
we got
problem.
the show done, but it delayed us a bit.
No problem, brother. I appreciate you and the work you and brother Ron are doing on NYP Talk.
Yeah.
Definitely have the right heart, and definitely have the best interests of our people in mind.
Oh, we do, man. Most importantly, it is, man. We gotta rise, man. Our people tired of being, viewed as what they want us to be viewed as. I can't say the word on here. It's N words, and we're beyond that. We're better than that. We're not that. We're greater than that. But with that being said, my brother, appreciate you. We appreciate you for your work. What you're doing out there is very beautiful. I be seeing your page sometime. I be seeing your workout. I'm like, that brother's getting it in. He's dancing, doing this. I'm like, look at this, man.
Hey, it's not just dancing, brother. Have you ever heard of capoeira? Was designed to look like a dance to the slave masters in Brazil, but it was actually training in martial art because it was illegal for the slaves to learn self-defense. So
it's beautiful. I
only post my aerobic. That's an aerobic workout. I'm 63, bro.
Now you don't look like it, but I'm like, go ahead, get it in, man. I see that, man. I like that. I appreciate you, my brother, for real, man. To our people, comment, like, share, subscribe. Okay.
Definitely comment, like, share, and subscribe to NYP Talk, the talk of the nation. Now,
got you. All right, talk of the nation. It is. You're not gonna come at us, but yeah, man, appreciate that. All right, my people, salute, man.
Ritual salute, brother.